Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin with the latest developments in Bethany, where families say sexual assault allegations against a former town employee were mishandled. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Bjorlo. We're learning several Republican town committee members resigned this week. And Fox 61's Julie LeBlanc spoke with 2 members who handed in their resignation letters.
We're told there's about 40 Republican town committee members here in Bethany, and nearly a quarter of them have resigned. This after recent tensions among the group.
It's really because for us, it was more important to have a voice in the community than it was to stick with our politics.
The former chair of Bethany's Republican Town Committee, Ali Wolowski, submitting this resignation letter, saying the committee has not addressed sexual assault allegations against a former town employee and refuses to take action.
The divide is every meeting. Every meeting has been very contentious. How do we move forward as a team, right? Show support for the town while sticking to our principles and morals. And we couldn't do it.
Wolowski's letter, among 8 others, also choosing to step down from the committee, some serving for more than 2 decades. It all follows a series of meetings and events after the arrest of 25-year-old Anthony Mastrangelo, accused of sexually assaulting several young girls during his time as a counselor and substitute teacher for the town. The allegations came out in December of 2022, but parents say they didn't learn about it until this summer, when Mastrangelo was arrested.
I mean, mine is personal. I'm not going to be in an organization that supports her because I still feel strong that she knew something, she did nothing, and she failed our town.
Amy Listinsky says her child was Mastrangelo's 5th victim. She feels First Selectwoman Paula Cofrancesco knew about the allegations earlier. The First Selectwoman has said she didn't have details and was asked by police not to talk about it. On top of leaving the committee, Listinsky and many others have asked for the First Selectwoman to step down. The committee tabling a vote of no confidence for Cofrancesco earlier this month. While some are walking away, others remain.
My thinking is it's for some, it's very political. They want to keep an R in the seat, and it's more important for them to have an R in the seat than it is to do the right thing for the town.
And for Listinsky, though she's stepping down from this role, she won't back down from the fight for her child.
I want this out in the open. I want people to know it was someone I thought was a friend. It hurts. My child and I are in therapy. It's unnecessary. If only our leader actually led this town and did what was right, we would not be in this predicament.
Now, we did reach out to the First Selectwoman, and she sent us a statement saying, quote, "The RTC has nothing to do with the business of the town of Bethany. As First Selectwoman, it would be inappropriate for me to comment on the business of a political organization." We also reached out to the now highest ranking member of the Republican Town Committee, the treasurer, and we haven't heard back. We are in Bethany. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Julia, thank you. The Bethany Board of Selectmen is looking at 6 different proposals from law firms as they work to hire one of them to conduct an independent investigation into the town's handling of all these allegations. The board is expected to make a decision on who to hire at a meeting next week. It is a decision the First Selectwoman has recused herself from. Let's get a check on the forecast. It's cool once again, but there is some rain in the forecast.
Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frayne joining us now. Rach, we need a lot. We're going to get a little.
Yeah, we'll get some. Every little bit counts, and it is a rare sight and a rare thing in the forecast to have showers in September, just at least this September. Taking a look at the radar, you'll see a few light showers and sprinkles across Hartford and Tolland counties. You'll see a few here across Tolland and Andover, and we'll get a closer look here across Manchester and Bolton too. And as we widen things out and take a look into Litchfield County, there's another batch of showers that's just moving in, and this will also go back into Hartford County. So while there might be a little bit of a break in the action right now for Avon and West Hartford and Bristol, I do expect more showers to move move back in. South and east of Hartford, we're mostly dry this evening. I think the next batch also ends up missing Middlesex and New London counties. So if you do have any outdoor plans this evening, soccer practice, walking the dog, I think you're fine there, but it's damp in other parts of the state. So we'll see a few light scattered showers out there tonight. Overnight lows around 60, not a whole lot of rain, but tomorrow is looking wetter than today. And you'll need the umbrella to kind of keep with you off and on through your Thursday. We'll see a few scattered showers out there in the morning, afternoon, and even evening. I think the steadiest, heaviest rain is to the north of us, but there could be a locally heavier downpour, maybe an isolated rumble of thunder here in Connecticut, and some of those showers could linger into early Friday morning. We'll get a closer look at your forecast and the improvement for the weekend coming up.
Rachel, thank you. Hurricane Helene created a lot of urgency on Capitol Hill today.
Less than 30 minutes ago, the House passed a temporary spending bill to avert yet another government shutdown. Votes were moved up because many legislators need to get back home before Helene arrives.
Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst has been following this story. She joins us now live in studio. Emma.
Brent, Bridget, the House gave quick approval about an hour ago to a fairly bare bones spending package, kicking the can down the road once again until December 20th. The bill funds federal agencies at current levels for the next 3 months, pushing the deadline until after the November election, but right before holiday break. It includes an extra $231 million for Secret Service funding after 2 assassination attempts of former President Donald Trump and growing safety concerns for candidates on the campaign trail. What this stopgap measure excludes is the procurement of 2 Virginia-class submarines Connecticut would benefit from. They also tossed out the controversial SAVE Act, a measure which would have required extra documentation for proof of U.S. citizenship at the polls. While Trump wanted Republicans to hold out for the SAVE Act with the deadline so close and a storm in the Gulf strengthening, our delegation tells me there's an air of compromise on the Hill tonight. Representative John Larson saying he feels Speaker Mike Johnson finally, quote, woke up to the need for a bipartisan agreement. All 5 Connecticut House members voted yes on the spending package today. Representative Rosa DeLauro, a ranking member on the Appropriations Committee, warning, though, this can't happen again.
We require a continuing resolution to keep the government open because House Republicans chose to squander the second session of the 118th Congress by writing extreme and harmful funding bills based on Donald Trump's Project 2025 manifesto.
This bill, also known as a continuing resolution or CR, is now in the hands of the Senate, which I'm told expect to pass it quickly and easily as well tonight. Important to note, too, if the government did shut down, FEMA would not have been able to provide short-term disaster relief either to Connecticut residents flooded out last month or those down in the Gulf in Florida bracing for Hurricane Helene. Bridget, Brent.
All right, Emma, thank you. A Bridgeport mother and her 2 children are in the hospital tonight with life-threatening injuries after being assaulted. Police say a 33-year-old woman and her 6- and 4-year-old kids were found injured inside an apartment. 38-year-old Abdul Rahim Suleiman was found walking away from the scene. He was arrested, and police believe he knew the victims, and they are calling this a domestic violence situation. And police do want to remind victims of domestic violence that there are resources available. You can contact the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence 24/7 at the number there on your screen, 1-888-774-2900.
Suffolk police responded to an ammonia leak early this morning. It happened at the HP Hood Food Company over on East Street South just before 1 a.m. The building was immediately evacuated along with some residences as a hazmat team responded to the scene. Thankfully, no one was injured.
Weathersfield police are investigating after a woman was found dead in an apartment there. Police say the woman was found dead in an apartment off the Berlin Turnpike just after 6 last night. And according to police, this is an isolated incident. There is no threat to the public. The woman's identity has not yet been released. The incident remains under investigation.
Now at 6, there's new beginnings for a New London congregation.
The First Congregational Church partially collapsed earlier this year, leaving the engaging Heaven Church community without a worship home. Well, now the church is buying a new home up the street.
That's good news for them. Fox 61's Lindsay Kane is in New London with all the details.
The Second Congregational Church here in New London will soon be home to the parish nearly 8 months after that devastating collapse. Engaging Heaven church members say they are excited for this new beginning.
We're excited to move into here, actually have a home again.
In January, the First Congregational Church owned by the Engaging Heaven church community partially collapsed, leaving a pile of rubble on State Street where the historic church once stood. Now the congregation has a new home. The owners of the Second Congregational Church just up the street bought that building for $1. The pastor's now retiring. He wanted to pay it forward to the Engaging Heaven church community and sell his church for the price he purchased it.
It's a relief because there's a lot of things we've wanted to do. You know, when you have your own place, you can do a lot more things. And, you know, we're more limited right now to just Sunday mornings, which we love and we're thankful for, but it gives us a space to not only do things for our people, but for the community.
The sale of the new church is expected to close in the coming days. In the meantime, the original site on State Street is still a pile of rubble. The plan is to start building a new business and apartments where the old church stood. As the congregation prepares for moving day, one of the pastors, Desiree Rosado, says the parish is thrilled to have a new permanent place to continue serving the community.
We're a tight-knit group. You know, we're a family and everybody is all hands-on, which has been so amazing. There's been a lot of just mixed emotions through the whole thing, but it's great. You know, we try to stay positive and just look at what God is doing in the midst of everything.
The first Mass for the Engaging Heaven Church is set to begin here at the Second Congregational Church on October 13th. In New London, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.